Welcome to the Mid-Yorkshire Teaching NHS Trust video, which will talk about returning to work with a long-term health condition. We have a series of videos to help you manage your symptoms independently, so please have a look at our other videos on YouTube.
Returning to work after time off can be a stressful time. However, there are lots of ways you can be supported at work and things you can do at home to make the transition as easy as possible. Occupational therapists can also support with this process, and this is known as vocational rehabilitation.
When returning to work after a period of illness, you may have lots of concerns about how you may manage an increase in your daily activities, or be worried about seeing your work colleagues after a period of being unwell. These are all very normal concerns to have. Working is good for health, and returning to work is a big step forwards. If you are well supported, this can help to ensure this is a positive experience. When you have been off work for any period of time, your routine will have changed and adapted. You may now wake up later than you did before, or don't typically go out until later in the day.
Adding some elements of your work routine into your day before going back to work is a good start. If you usually start work at 8 a.m., can you begin to set your alarm earlier in the day and work up to being ready to leave the house at your usual time? Can you incorporate some work-related activities that gradually increase in difficulty, for example, sorting emails, completing small amounts of filing, or sorting letters at home?
You do not need to be at 100% health in order to return to work. Everyone has good and bad days, and there are ways that can support you in returning to work. Arranging a return to work meeting with your employer can be a good first step to considering your return. This meeting can help your employer understand areas they can support you and can assist you to understand what your employer may expect of your return.
If you have access to occupational health and have not already seen them, asking for a referral is a good idea. Take a notepad with you to any meetings like this to ensure you don't miss any information, particularly if you have fatigue or brain fog.
When discussing your schedule for returning, a phased return should be considered. This allows you to return to your usual working hours in a gradual way. A typical phased return often is planned over 4 weeks, starting on 25% of your usual hours, increasing to 50% on the second week, 75% on the third week, and being back at your usual working hours on week 4.
For some people, it can take longer to return to your usual working hours. In these cases, a phased return of up to 12 weeks can be highly beneficial to allow you to increase your hours more gradually, allowing you to continue to manage and monitor your symptoms whilst remaining in work.
Consider your working hours during your phased return. Is there a time of day that is particularly difficult for you? For example, mornings being more challenging due to your fatigue? If so, speaking to your line manager or occupational health to allow you to start later in the day in the early stages of your phased return may be helpful.
When you start to return, it may be useful to have weekly meetings with your line manager to discuss your health and well-being. This allows a regular opportunity to adapt your phased return if there is an area that is challenging, or if your symptoms are worsening. It is always best to communicate with your employer, so if you are struggling during your return to work, speak to someone before this worsens so you can be supported at work.
Once you have an agreed return to work date, complete a trial run to help return to your previous routine. Wake up at the time you'll need to during your working days, get ready and complete the journey to work if you commute. Remember to account for pacing and allow yourself additional time to incorporate rests into your morning routine. Good luck with your return to work. Please speak to a member of the service if you feel you may need further support.
We also have a number of other useful videos to help self-manage your condition on our Mid-York's YouTube page. Thank you for listening.